again, I was homeless and I had nowhere to live. And he said, yo, you can come stay at my dad's house for 2 weeks. My dad's out of town. And I crashed it at his house for 2 weeks. Great fucking question. How did I get into fitness? So I was destined for this shit. I always did the football thing. I'll never forget, Joseph Salgado was my best friend growing up, other than Giovanni. Giovanni was in and out of trouble. Joseph I hung out a lot with. And I'll never forget, we were getting ready for sophomore year. And we were trying to get ready for the football season. We were on the football team. And I got an entire binder of football drills and workouts for me and him to do during the summer that I created. I was creating workout plans sophomore year in high school. So I think deep down inside of me, like the teacher, coach, like mental vibe was always there. But how I actually got into fitness was because of my first real job at GNC. So while I was working at GNC, you have to learn, to get a job, you have to learn they give you like a big old encyclopedia with like all the vitamins, all the herbs, zinc, magnesium, milk thistle, everything, all the supplements. You gotta learn all of it because you have to sell it. But you sell based on commission. So I think I've always been a really good talker, and I just tie that into my looks and my personality and my hand waveness and my passion and so forth. And I remember I was selling supplements like crazy. It was like a quarter for each supplement you sold. And you could sell 50 supplements in a day. Back then, that's a lot of money for me, And because I was so good at selling the supplements, people started asking me, like they come in, I'm like, oh, so why are you here? See, I wouldn't sell them, I wouldn't ask them, what are you looking for? I said, so no, why are you here? Like, why are you at GNC? Oh, I'm looking for this vitamin. Yeah, but why are you here? Like, why, like, what do you, why are you walking to a GNC for? Oh, I want to go ahead and my joints. Yeah, but why your joints? Because I was always trying to find out like why people were coming into the store, not what they were coming to get. Because I was thinking like a salesperson of how could I learn more about them and tie in more supplements. I got so good at doing that, people started asking me, oh, are you a trainer? I didn't even know what being a personal trainer was. But like everything in my life, I started saying right away, yes, I am a trainer. I didn't know shit. I'll never forget. I fucking, oh, that's crazy. Long story short, that's how it started for me. It started out for me, I was living alone already. I had to pay bills. I was living with my ex-girlfriend at the time. I had to pay bills. And the desire of just making more money was what started out for me. So people were asking, I was like, there's a demand here. Yeah, I am a trainer. I started to say, yes, I'm a trainer. And I kind of just started figuring everything out. But again, because I already had that like in-depth desire of like creating programs and training people, and I've always like been like loud spoken and intense and passionate. It was very easy for me to do it. And I was like charging like $240 per person for the month, but unlimited. And I remember I used to work from GNC from 3 to 9, train people at night and train people in the mornings before 3 p.m. going to GNC. And at the time I was making what I thought was really good money. I mean, can't survive now, but I was living behind a gas station in a 1-bedroom apartment in like Hollywood, which is like ghetto. Like it's not like African-American ghetto Miami, but it's like, poor quality white people ghetto, so I don't use the word. And I remember back then I was making enough money to pay my bills. That's how it started for me. That's it. GNC. The manager's name was Angie. Never forget her, because she gave me the job illegally, actually. Shit. It was a franchise GNC. So she didn't own it. Her husband had passed away, and her in-laws owned it. She ran it. She was the manager. But you have to be 18 to work at GNC because you're selling vitamins and herbs and all this. And I remember she gave me the job, and I was only 16. Crazy story. That's where I met Mauricio. You know Mauricio, my best friend? Does music? We met at GNC. Working at GNC? Yeah, we met at GNC. And then, when we both quit, it was because our relationship at GNC, me and him became really good friends because he can share this story, but he was like, yo, you gotta help buy groceries. And all I did was buy 1 ball of lettuce. To this day, he makes fun of me for that story. I showed up with a ball of lettuce. Had no fucking money. Shit was tough. And how did I lose my money? You might be wondering, because remember, I started training people. was because I thought I was rich. I was making, good money, much more money than I was ever accustomed to in my life, training people. And I started acting like a wannabe rich guy, so my buddy Joseph was like, yo, we should start our own clothing company. He was like, yo, my uncle will invest in me and all this shit. And also I went on a printing shop online in the US. Like, you pay full price for a shirt. It's like $20 for them to print a shirt. And it was like Flight Fitness shirts and all this, which was my first company, was called Flight Fitness, which was like take flight towards your goals and your dreams and shit like that. And I spent a ton of money, imagine like getting all these shirts done at full cost, thinking that we were gonna sell them for like $40, we were gonna be rich, I think only like a few family and friends bought those shirts. He ended up saying his uncle wasn't interested. He didn't do shit for it, like, he didn't do nothing at that point. He just dropped out and then shit just went south from there. Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, all right. Next question. Crazy.
So you kind of started in a different age, different as far as like the different times, you were like in the late 2000s, early 2010s when you just kind of started building your business and your brand and yourself. And, that was like 10 years ago. So for somebody who's just starting now in this day and age, 2020, what kind of advice would you give them?
I would give the advice of you have to work hard, and also don't create partnerships. And I know this might sound fucked up hearing it, but Flight Fitness, Dual Flex Fitness, Red Sports Nutrition, then the Wolf of Fitness was all mine, and then Per Fitness. Only really 3 of those companies made me a good amount of money that changed my entire life. And Wolf of Fitness being all mine, which was before I met Jane. And Jane's partnership is because she's my woman, we live together. And then Red Sports Nutrition, I bought out both my partners. I bought them out. So it wasn't a partner, the company was doing okay, and I was doing a lot of the work. And what happens with partnerships is that you're always blaming, you're always pointing fingers. And what I realized, if I could give advice to anybody building a business now, is that you don't need a partner, hire employees. And what I mean by that is, every time you partner with someone, they have their own individual life. They have their own days of depression, they have their own days of horniness, they have their own days where they don't want to work, they have their own days when they want to work, they have their own days when they might fall in love, they have their own days when their family might be sick, they have their own life, they have their own responsibility. And it's really hard, because unless you guys live together, even if you're roommates, for you guys to be in the same alignment. You might be willing to go crazy and build a business, and they might be going through a stage where they're like, yo, I'm focused right now on school, or I'm focused on my job, or my mom got sick, or I have a girlfriend. So what I realized that those last 10 years was that I'm a very excited, passionate person, and I had like all these great ideas and a desire to make it work, and I always want to see the people around me win. So I wanted to bring people, I didn't want to win alone. Like, even when I met Jane, I quickly wanted her to become a part of my company. So because it's a bad habit of mine, and it's a bad habit of me to want to build together. And what I noticed with a lot of companies is that the best way to build together, and I learned this really these last 2 years, is hiring people. Because it's very clear what the responsibilities are, and you're very clear what your responsibilities are. Number one, your responsibilities are to build the business so you can pay your employees, and their responsibilities are to help grow the business. There's no confusion there. When you have partnerships, even if you go 50-50, 51-49, 60-40, 70-30, the responsibilities are way too broad because you're building a business. Businesses run from morning until, it might be even 24 hours a day your business needs to be running. And when you have a partnership and you're going 50-50, which most beginners do, you expect the same thing from your partner. And rarely does that ever happen consistently. So, yeah, I've been doing this for a long time. Where most people got out of college at 24, 25 and started being independent, I was already been independent for almost 10 years. So I have a lot of experience, which is why I resonate so well with a different type of clientele and individual, because I'm able to connect with them on experience alone, even though we're different ages. But my biggest experience from this is partnerships are not the answer to success. Even one of my most recent partnerships with one of my projects, my partner stepped out. And none of my partnerships end bad, but I'm just trying to share with you guys like how to like save time. My partner stepped out because he has a family, he has kids, he has a full-time job. And I'm used to, anybody would tell you, bro, I'll go 3 days without sleep if I'm trying to build something I believe in. I have like that crazy work ethic when my mind doesn't stop. And I expect that from everyone that I associate myself with. What I've learned to do now, after going to Business Mastery to Tony Robbins, and huge shout out to Tony Robbins, if you guys have done any of his courses, after going to Business Mastery for Tony Robbins I started thinking like a business owner. So at first I would hire employees and expect them to be my partners. And then I started to realize that, well, you're not paying them to be your partner, you're paying them like employees, so they're only gonna do so much. So I started seeing, okay, it's like, and I made it really clear what my employees' responsibilities are, how much they get paid, and there's definitely room for growth, and I support their visions and their own goals. But that way I don't ever get mad at them because they're not at 3 a.m. in the morning writing back to me about, a to-do list or an assignment, which is what I would expect from my partners. And I think I hold myself so accountable to that my phone is literally all day at all hours beeping and ringing with clients and people reaching out to me and me getting back to them because I don't have an off switch. And people pay for that. But when you're in business and you're trying to build something, whatever business it is, remember, no one's gonna work as hard for your vision as you will. Not your partners, not your employees, no one. But at least you can fire your employees. When you fire your partners, it's a whole different style of firing. And I learned that the hard way. My partners were friends. They were best friends. They were people who I knew, who I had relationships with. So when I say, yo, did you reach out to these, did you get distributors? Did you call our distributors for our supplements? Bro, like, you haven't sent out any, every single week we gotta leave 19 units at Total Nutrition. Why haven't you done it? Why you didn't do it? Yo, man, I got you. Are you gonna flip out on your best friend? Are you gonna fire your best friend? You can't. You can get angry, you can fight, but it's still a partnership. An employee will never do that because an employee knows they can get fired. And I learned that's way more valuable than partnerships when you're trying to build a business. And you know what? I tell you right now, I talk to a lot of people who are building businesses. That's a very good question that I just got asked right now. And the more I talk about it, the more 100% sure I am, don't do partnerships.